We've all seen one of these, a simple nasal swab. It's usually used for something routine, like a COVID-19 or flu test. But at Unravel, this swab becomes something much more powerful. A window into the entire body, even complex organs like the brain. All without ever needing a highly invasive brain biopsy, we can decipher a patient's disease biology. This is possible because the body isn't made of isolated parts. It's one connected system. What happens in one tissue doesn't stay there, it affects everything else. So instead of trying to sample hard-to-reach organs directly, we can look at accessible, non-invasive tissues like the nose, and still understand what's going wrong deeper in the body. By extracting RNA from a nasal swab, we capture a real-time snapshot of a patient's disease state. Each tissue has its own RNA profile, but diseases don't act in isolation, they disrupt shared biological pathways across the whole system. The real breakthrough happens when this data meets BioNAV, Unravel's computational AI platform. BioNAV figures out what's actually driving the disease, and what can fix it. It maps how genes interact as a system, identifying the key pathways that are disrupted across different tissues. This allows Unravel's team to digitally identify which interventions will restore balance at the system's level. Here we compare raw gene expression data in ALS tissues to BioNAV's modeling of the same samples. Raw gene expression data tends to group samples by their tissue of origin, i.e. cortex, spinal cord, or cerebellum. This results in separated SOD1 patients. BioNAV groups them by their underlying disease biology, seen by the clustering of SOD1 patients. BioNAV identifies the shared biological signatures that unify the different tissues ALS manifests in, by analyzing the underlying molecular drivers rather than just regional anatomy. The model recognizes that the disease state remains consistent across the CNS. We take this capability a step further by utilizing nasal swabs as a non-invasive window into the patient's biology and another source of patient tissues. This allows nasal swabs and BioNAV to provide deep clinical insights without the need for invasive procedures. This shows how we can use simple, non-invasive samples to understand complex diseases and predict which treatments will restore balance across the whole patient. And this translates directly to real patients. In one case, we worked with a patient with an SMC1A disorder also known as Cornelia de Lange syndrome, which is a genetic condition that primarily affects the brain, causing severe seizures and developmental delays. Normally, understanding a neurological disease would require studying the brain directly, which is incredibly difficult and invasive. But instead, we use a simple nasal swab. Using RNA from that nasal swab, BioNAV built a digital model of the patient, a living molecular twin, and predicted which treatments could restore balance across the whole system, including the brain. Based on those predictions, the patient independently pursued off-label treatments with a clinician. And the results were dramatic. Seizures were significantly reduced. Hospital time dropped by 95%, the patient regained the ability to walk, and was even taken off hospice. So we weren't just predicting changes in the nose, we were predicting improvements in brain function, using only a non-invasive sample. Even more telling, BioNAV correctly identified the adverse effects of a molecule. In the case of SMC1A, a medication the patient was already using was negatively impacting lung function. Seeing the negative effects of this drug, the caregiver turned to BioNAV's predictive data. After discussing the results with their clinician, they independently decided to remove the problematic treatment, resulting in a significant recovery for the patient. The nasal swab and BioNAV were able to capture drug activity affecting both the brain and the lungs simultaneously. This is the shift. Instead of studying one tissue at a time, we can understand and treat disease at the level it actually operates. As a connected system across the entire body. All with a simple nasal swab.